Hello, I'm Coach Arun and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about something very interesting, that is employees don't leave their companies but their bosses. Why and what to do about it? Well, enough has been said and enough has been written about that employees don't leave their companies but their bosses. Is it really true? And if it is true, let's find that out. Now, let's imagine that you have a friend who has recently made a shift, and when you ask him that what made him shift into the new role or into the new company, generally you will find that they will tell you three reasons. One is a pay hike, that they got a better salary offer. Number two, that the role that they have got is more challenging and more exciting than the existing one. And number three could be that they really got impressed upon the people who interviewed them and he really wants to get associated with those people. Well, nobody wants to talk about negative about their previous employer because everybody is looking forward to the job in hand and how they are going to make a difference in the new role. And nobody wants to touch upon the previous employer or the previous bosses. And that is one of the reasons that in most of the exit interviews, all these feedbacks get hidden and it doesn't come out openly. But ultimately, if you ask them that what is the prime reason, you will find them, they will talk about that the major reason of shifting is because of their boss. And when you go deeper, they will tell you the actions and often the inactions done by their managers or their bosses made them to take that decision. And what are those actions or inactions? They are generally related to engagement. That how their bosses were unable to engage them, how they were unable to retain them when they wanted their most of their help at that time. So let's go further and find out that why it all happened. What exactly the employees are really looking at when they really want to do well, when they have joined an organization, and why managers get all the blame because of which they make a decision and they move out of the organization. Let's get into that. So why people leave managers and not companies? Well, as per Gallup research, 50% of people left their job at some point of their career to get away from their managers, which simply means that for 50% of the employees, the reason number one to leave their job is their managers. But the question that brings is what happens to the rest of the 50% who are still working with the same manager and continuing their career? Now let's find out that why people quit their job in the name of their manager. Employees rate manager as reason number one when it comes to quitting. The answer is very simple. You need to go a little deeper into the life cycle of a manager and an employee. If you look very closely, manager creates a huge influence in the professional life of an employee. Now, when it comes to work priorities, your daily plan, you are dependent on your managers. Number two, when it comes to critical decisions, when it comes to problem solving, you look up to your manager. Number three, when it comes to your projects, which projects you are going to work upon, what are the new assignments that you are going to take up, is all depend on your manager. Even your promotions, they are also linked with the kind of feedback that a manager builds up. So if you look at very closely, the manager is the one that is giving you and creating an experience for you in the organization, which is making you believe that this is the way the work happens. Such is the influence of the immediate manager on the employee that it creates. Now, this begs a question that if your relationship with your line manager is not good, if it is on the downturn, the kind of negative impact it leaves you with can overwhelm you with a lot of emotional stress and can also make you think of quitting your job. While on the other side, if this relationship is sweet, if it is going very nice, if your manager is really looking for your development, if he is keeping you engaged, the high turn is that the employee also starts giving more than 100% of his current capabilities. So if the manager is not able to do so, which is one of the reasons that when we look at any survey, more than 30% of the employees are disengaged, and that is where the managers are not doing their job that they are supposed to engage their employees, their teammates. This leaves a question mark that why employees put reason number one of their leaving is their bosses, is their manager. And I am asking the same question that all managers need to think about it, that why all employees, including them for their manager, put as reason number one when they quit their job. Now let's talk about some numbers. Now, the more detailed I gathered from this research, the more information it revealed with respect to the effectiveness of managers vis-a-vis its impact on the employees. 75% of the employees have mentioned that the worst part of their job is their immediate manager. 65% of the employees have clearly stated that they would prefer to have a new manager than to have a pay raise. 66% of the millennials are looking out for an immediate job change. Whereas good managers, I repeat, good managers have created 11% higher productivity in their employees just because they were effective. Now, such is the impact of managers. The study further reveals that 23% of the employees, if you ask them today, they are ready to leave. Now, think about the impact of manager when it comes to the effectiveness and the kind of impact it leaves on the employees. And no wonders that enough people have written, enough people have mentioned that the number one reason that people don't leave companies, they leave their bosses. Such is the impact of managers. So if the managers are not effective, if they are not working on their effectiveness, they are definitely going to break this chain of generating, building new employees, which is their core role, that is people development. If they are not developing people, if they are not engaging people, if they are not retaining their talent, how will they contribute to the core role that they are meant for? And this is the question that I'm asking through this topic, that why employees leave bosses and not companies. Because the companies are also, when I say companies, I truly mean the leadership team, the think tank, the leadership think tank, what it thinks and how they are creating the strength of their line managers. Are they really investing on their training and development? Are they really equipping them with enough tools, enough knowledge, enough resources that they can develop their team to that caliber, that level, that they not only build talent within, but they also prepare for future managers within their system? And that's the call. And that is where all research, I repeat again, that 30% of the employees are not engaged. And that is one of the reasons that people quit their job. And the reason number one of their not getting engaged is the line manager. So the point that I bring again and again, it is the effectiveness of the manager that is driving the whole system in an organization, that is bringing revenue to the company. But are companies really thinking about it? No, they are not, because there are very few companies who are really investing on the development of people. So that leaves a huge opportunity and responsibility on the role of a manager to equip himself so that he creates a future for himself and create the future of people who are under him and become responsible for his position. We'll talk more about this in this part. Why do people leave managers and not companies? Let's consider another aspect of it. When managers get promoted, they get into a habit of seeking attention from their higher ups, which means that they put a lot of focus and energy to make their immediate managers or senior managers happy and take approval from them on everything what they are doing. In other words, the managers start putting more time and effort towards their superiors than to their team, where they are supposed to spend more amount of time. And that leads to one of the steps towards ineffectiveness. And no wonders, the most common complaint the teams that report to the HR managers or the superiors is that their managers are taking credit of their work and they are not happy with the immediate manager because their involvement is the least. And no wonders that these employees remain dissatisfied. They are disengaged, and that leads to the ineffectiveness of the line manager. But if organizations start spending time and energy and focus and attention, investment on training and development continuously on their managers, they get more strengthened and you will find that they are more effective with their team. Because good managers always spend more time on their team development than spending time on higher ups. Whereas bad managers, they spend more time on managing their higher ups than their teams. And that is where the big basic chain that gets broken up when the employee feels that they are neglected, that they are not getting engaged, and they start thinking of quitting their job and they put their manager as reason number one for quitting. So I want these things to be thought about by the companies and the manager himself, that how they are equipping themselves in building their talents, in building their skills, in building their careers so that they can show a path better to the future generations that are coming towards them. I look forward for your comments, your feedbacks on this particular topic, that why employees leave managers and not companies. I hope you would have got some ideas. I'm going to share some more insights in my coming video. Do subscribe my channel and stay tuned. Thanks for watching.